Okay, let's try this again. Little man is sleeping, so if you hear any little snores or anything, hopefully he stays that way. Okay, so back to composite figures. So again, this one has kind of the dotted lines to show you. And this time we have 3 sections. We have what looks like a rectangle, a triangle. Sorry, I gotta open snacks now. And it looks like half of a circle. Okay, so I'm gonna do rectangle, triangle, and then this half circle. So I'm gonna start with the rectangle. So I'm gonna find the area of this rectangle first. I guess it doesn't matter which one you find first, but that's the one we're going to look at. So what we have here is we have, this is 9, which means this is 9, okay, which means this distance right here from the top to the bottom of this is also 9. So I can find this distance by doing 26 minus 9, and 26 minus 9 is 17. Okay, so to find the area of that rectangle, I'm going to do 9 times 17. And 9 times 17 is 153. Okay, the next thing I'm going to look at is that triangle. Formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to do 1/2. This is my base, so 9. So 1/2 times 9 times, and then this right here is my height. Now, again, the whole thing is 26. I know this rectangular piece that we talked about a while ago is 17. So if this is 7, that means this is 10. Okay, so half of 9 times 10 is going to be 45. And then the last thing I'm going to find before adding everything together is the area of that half circle. Since the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared, since I'm finding half a circle, I'm going to do half pi times the radius, and in this case the radius is 9 squared. So we're going to do 1/2 times pi times 9 squared. And when we do that, we get 127. 127.23. And then to find my total, I'm just going to add all 3 of those together. So 153 plus 45 plus 127.23. When I add those all together, I get 325.23. Okay. So then we're going to look at the cone. We have this triangle. We'll call that, it doesn't matter which one. And then we have another half circle. So on this triangle, we're going to have to do some extra work. So I'm going to do the half circle first. So half circle, if this entire thing is 16, that means this piece is 8. So I'm going to do this as my first area. So since it's half a circle, I'm going to do 1/2 pi times 8 squared, which is 100.53. Okay. The next thing I'm going to look at is this triangle. So our formula for a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, 1/2. Now we know the base here is this 16. And then here's where we have to be careful. A lot of people are going to think that height is 17. That height is not 17. It has to go from the right angle. So it has to go from here. So what we will need to do on this one is Pythagorean theorem to find that height. Okay. So looking at this little half section here is a right triangle. And I have the hypotenuse. So this side that I'm looking for, I'm going to do 17 squared minus 8 squared. Okay. Which is 225. And then I'm going to square root that. So when I square root that, I get that that height is 15. Okay. So I'm going to do my area is 1/2 16 times 15. Okay. And when I do that, I get 120. Then I'm going to add those two together. 100.53 plus 120 is 220.53. Okay, at any point in time, y'all can pause it and try some of them on your own, if you'd like. So, going on to number 5. Number 5, again, we have 3 sections. We have, it looks like a square here in the center. We have a trapezoid here, and then we have a triangle here. So, there's a lot going on with this one. Okay, so we know this piece is 9.6. We know all of these are the same. We know this piece is 12. So what we're going to start by doing is we're going to start by finding this little piece right here on this triangle. Again, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to say x squared is equal to this 12 right here is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to subtract. I'm going to do 12 squared, not right this second, Bubba, minus 9.6 squared. Okay, 12 squared minus 9.6 squared. When I do that, I get that x squared is equal to 51.84. And then I'm going to square root that. When I square root that, I get 7.2. Okay, so that means this side right here is 7.2. But in order to find the entire side, I'm just going to double that. So 7.2 times 2 would be 14.4. So each of these sides right here is 14.4. Okay, so now I can find the area of that square. So that's going to be 14.4 squared. Okay, and when I square that, I get 207.36. Okay, I'm going to find the area of that triangle next. Oh, I guess I could do the trapezoid. I'm going to do the either one. I guess I have trapezoid written as the second one, so I'll do that. Okay, so area is 1/2. My height is this part right here, or you could draw that in the middle. If this is 14.4, I'm going to do, I'm going to write it down here. 25.4 minus 14.4. And when I subtract those, I get 11. So 11 times, the bases are 10, and the top one is 14.4. Okay. So when I put those into my calculator, I get 134.2. And then the last one I have is that triangle. Formula for a triangle is 1/2 the base. So the base is the whole side of that square, which is 14.4, times height. And the height of that triangle is 9.6. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply those. And when I do, I get 69.12. And then I need to add all 3 of those together. So my total would be 207.36 plus 134.2 plus 69.12. And when I add all of those together, I get 410.68. All right, so now we're going to look at shaded regions, which is very similar. You're still going to be finding area of multiple objects. This time, instead of adding them together, you'll subtract. So it says to find the area of a shaded region, find the area of the entire figure, then subtract the area of the non-shaded region. Okay, so we're still looking at what shapes do we have and then subtracting them. Okay, so this first one, I have a square and I have a circle. Okay, so I'm going to start by finding the area of the square. So area of the square. You can write it all out. It doesn't matter to me. Area of a square, I'm going to do 25 squared. 25 squared is 625. And then I'm going to find the area of the circle. Okay, so if I'm looking at this picture, I need the radius. Well, the radius is going to be half of that side length, so I'm going to cut 25 in half. So this is going to be pi times half of 25 is 12.5 squared. Okay, so pi times 12.5 squared is going to be 490.87. And this time, instead of adding the two together, I'm going to subtract them. Okay, so I had the square and I'm taking the circle out of the square. So this would be 134.13. Okay. Number 7, we have a rectangle and that we're taking a triangle out of it. So I'm going to start by finding the area of the rectangle. Area of a rectangle is base times height or length times width. So I'm doing 14 times 25, which is 350. And then I'm going to find the area of that triangle. Okay, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So this is my base, which is at 25. And the height is at that right angle at 11. If you can hear him, he is clearly having the best time. Hey, Theo. Okay, so 1/2, 25 times 11 would be 137.5. So I'm going to do 350 minus the 137.5. And when I subtract those, I get 212.5. It's green. Okay. This one we have a half circle and a triangle. It is a right triangle, so I know it doesn't have anything labeled here, but since this is a diameter, let me get a pen. Since this is a diameter, this is a right angle. Just so you know. So on number 8, we do need information about this side so that we can answer questions. So my first thing is going to be Pythagorean theorem. So I do need to find this side first. So this is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to say x squared is equal to 9 squared plus 21.6 squared. When I add those together, I'm going to get 547.56. And then I'm taking the square root of that. And when I take the square root of that, I get 23.4. Okay, so this entire side is 23.4. Okay, and then I'm going to start by finding the area of that half circle. So that's going to be 1/2 pi times the radius. Now, this whole piece is the diameter, so I do need to cut that in half. So half of that would be 11.7. And then I can put that in my calculator. Half of pi times 11.7 squared is going to be 215.03. Okay, then I'm going to find the area of that triangle. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Just be careful when you're looking at this triangle. Remember that base and height have to be at a right angle. This is where the right angle is, so base, height. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/2 times 9 times 21.6, which would be 97.2. Okay, so I'm going to do 215.03 minus 97.2. And when I subtract those, I'm going to get 117.83. All right, last one. Last one, we have a trapezoid with a circle going through it, it looks like. Okay, but we do need to find this height right here. Okay, which would be the same over here. So I'm looking at this as a right triangle. So 37 minus 17. So since this piece is 17, that means my leftover piece right here would be 20. And then I can find this height that's right here. I can use Pythagorean theorem. This is my 25 right here is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to subtract 25 squared minus 20 squared, which gives me x squared is equal to 225. And then if I square root, that tells me x is 15. Okay, so this height right here is 15. Okay, then I'm going to start by finding the area of the trapezoid. Area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the height. So when I talk about the height of a trapezoid has to connect the two bases. Okay, this is the base of the trapezoid, and this is the other base. And then the thing that's connecting them at a right angle is at 15. So we're going to do 1/2 times 15 times 17 plus 37. Okay, when I do that, I get 405. The next thing I need to do is I need to find the area of this half circle. That's right here. So since it's half of a circle, it's going to be 1/2 pi times our radius squared. Now our radius is only half of this. That means it's half of 15. So half of 15 is 7.5. And when I do that, I get 88.36. So then my total is going to be 405 minus 88.36. And when I subtract those, I get 316.64. All right, so that's it for composite figures. If you have time, actually, I don't even know if the assignment's left, so hopefully you got finished with these today and you're not starting them on Monday. But if not, understandable. I do hope you'll have a great rest of your day, though. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.